You are listening to One Happy Podcast, episode 53. Bon dia and welcome to One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. I'm your host, Curtis Robinson, aka Aruba Kurt.
And I'm Midushi Mags.
And Midushi Mags. I'm digging your little routine of switching up nicknames every time until something sticks.
How do you like that?
I dig it.
I'm going to have to take a poll and find out what the best one is for me, because I just can't figure out which one's sticking again.
Right.
Yeah.
Midushi Mags. As always, I want to thank you guys for being such an incredible listening audience. Now this is episode 53 of the show. So I guess you can say it's an actual thing now.
I guess so.
Pretty excited because we actually, as you already know, we're going to be visiting Aruba in July, but now we have officially booked our place to stay, which is pretty exciting.
I know. Yay! I'm excited.
Yes, because that makes it real. I mean, even though we always knew we were coming down again, it just, when you start finalizing those plans like that, it just makes it so much more real.
Mm-hmm. It's almost time to start packing.
I'm going to pack this week.
No, you're not.
Not likely.
You'll say that every day up until the day before, and you'll be like, holy crap, I got to pack.
Yeah, probably. But it's wishful thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll be staying at the same place that we've stayed at for the previous 5 or 6 trips?
Yeah, I think it's been about 5. So this would be our 6th.
So I guess we've settled on to that as being our place.
Yeah. I don't know if Janet realizes that we've actually taken over the place, but that's our place that she tends to rent out to other people once in a while.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, we let her.
Especially since she pays the bills.
You know.
But before we start talking about where we're staying and all that, how about we do a recap of the last episode?
Okay, why don't you get that started?
Yes, since this is a multi-part series.
Uh-huh.
On the last episode, we talked all about deciding when to go to Aruba.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about scheduling around your work and your family's work schedule.
Mm-hmm. Trying to decide if you want to go during the high season or the low season and what the benefits are of both.
If you can do one of each or multiples of each.
That's even better.
When to book the airfare, we talked about that. Our sweet spot tends to be about 8 to 12 weeks out on Southwest at a BWI.
Yeah, it's usually probably about 12 weeks where I start to say, oh, you got to book. And you're like, okay. And then we probably book her out, 9 to 10 weeks out.
Yeah, something like that. And also we talked about different types of accommodations you might want, like a resort versus a private rental.
Mm-hmm.
We have never done a resort in Aruba.
No, we have not. Someday we probably will. But for now, I'm okay without it.
Yeah, I kind of dig the private rentals myself.
To each their own. Everybody has different reasons for doing different things.
Yeah, definitely. It's fun once you find your
niche.
Yes, once you find your niche, it's always nice because then you can settle into a routine.
Mm-hmm. Just like we've gone to the same private rental over and over again. I mean, there's a lot of people, even if they're not a timeshare, they go to the same hotel over and over and over because that's their comfort place. It's what they know. It's what they love, and you can't talk anybody out of that. It's all about comfort and feeling like home.
Yeah, once you find something that fits your personality, it's like, why mess it up?
Right.
Now, we didn't always stay, this is a house that we stay in, which is funny because it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Mm-hmm. And there's just 2 of us.
Just the 2 of us.
We get our own bathroom.
Yeah, and we need the space. I like having that space.
Yeah.
But the first time we vacationed on Aruba, so not talking cruises or anything, the first time we vacationed on Aruba, we stayed at Oceania on Eagle Beach.
Yeah, we did. I loved it.
Yes, so that was a condo, which was a little bit different than this house we stay in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was really nice.
Yeah, no, extraordinary, yeah.
Beautiful view.
Mm-hmm. I looked into how much those places cost to purchase.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Way out of my price range. The unit we stayed in, I think that was right around $1 million.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we won't be living there anytime soon.
So that was 3 bedrooms as well, right?
Right.
Right. So it was
Mhm.
a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath.
2 bathrooms.
Oh, okay. I thought it was two and a half. Okay.
Yeah, we were supposed to have Katie and Jesse, right? But we ended up only
Oh,
having one
yeah,
of
that's
them.
right. Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's why we ended up with the 3 bedrooms. Which I mean, that's it's cool. Like I said, I like the space, and that location was incredible because Oceania is. I mean, it's across the road from Eagle Beach, but the view is just spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we were down there for the regatta in August. So it was like
Yes,
perfect. I mean, we checked into our room, and I guess it was probably in the evening or early evening, maybe 5 p.m. or
right.
so.
Sounds
And
about right.
yeah, and I remember the sailboats going right by like it was a picture. And actually, Jess has since painted the picture of that view from our window, and it hangs over our sofa.
Hmm.
But it was a beautiful view, and then the sunset over the water was just gorgeous.
So our first experience, I mean, that was picture perfect, and that was like as you mentioned during a regatta, which is low season.
Hmm.
We booked that place through VRBO.
Now that we book from the same person all the time, we don't spend as much time on a VRBO. But I used to love to just go through page after page after page of different places, looking at them, trying to decide, oh, would we be here? Would this be my bedroom? I used to love to do that. It was fun. We don't really do that anymore.
Hmm. And if you're not familiar with VRBO, it's vacation rental by owners. And
Hmm.
there's several different websites that all serve the same purpose. There's VRBO, HomeAway, Airbnb. Basically, they're all just ways for someone who's looking to rent a place to find an owner who's looking to rent their place out. And when we use VRBO, was that our first time ever using it for anything? Or
Yeah.
had we used it in other places? Okay,
Yeah.
so that was our first time. And it takes a little bit of a leap of faith in order for you to do that because you're not renting from an established company, you're renting from an actual person.
You have to trust that, I guess, the pictures that they're putting on there are legit, that
Hmm.
somebody isn't going to take your information when you decide to book the place and, use it. And then you end up getting down there and there's no place there for you to stay.
Right, right,
So, I
right.
mean, we had read and, had heard of, all these scary things that can happen when you book on these websites. But I believe that, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know how long VRBO had been around, but it seemed very well established at the time. And the more we read about it, the more comfortable we became with it. And I think one of the important things is to communicate with the people who are renting the place, and they do give you that opportunity to communicate back and forth. I
Right.
think that gives you a sense of safety a little bit more when you actually get to communicate with that person.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually did like some cyber stalking to make sure that these people actually existed.
Yes, we did. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, so I mean, we won't mention any names or anything, but we found like YouTube videos and all types of things. And, there were videos of them at the condo that weren't for promotional purposes. It was like family videos and things like that. So that just
It's
gave
what
us,
you can find when you start clicking.
yeah, yeah. And it gave me complete peace of mind.
Yeah, right. You could actually see the place, and it looked like it did in the pictures.
Hmm.
So we were content. Obviously, the first time you use something like that, you're never going to be sure until you actually, get there and find out it is what you expected it to be. And it definitely was. It was more than what we expected it to be.
Without a doubt. Yeah, no, it was spectacular. It was a third floor penthouse apartment, with the jacuzzi up on the roof,
I was,
barbecue up on the roof, a sitting area. Yeah, it was really nice.
yeah. And then you had how many pools do they have at Oceania? I think at least three.
Three.
And then
Yeah,
they
and it
own the private gate that leads across the street to Eagle Beach. It was just it was beautiful. And I'm sure
right
there's probably people out there that are going to say, "Well, okay, so then if it was so great, why aren't you staying there every time?"
because they raised the price.
Oh,
We
sure
we
they
ended up
did.
getting we got a great deal on that place, like a ridiculous deal that you wouldn't be able to find anymore.
I think
Um,
they had just, am I wrong? Did they just buy that place like within the year of us renting it? And I think they were trying to promote it.
no, and I have my own theory on this. They were actually in the process of selling that place.
Okay.
Here's my theory. So in order to make it seem like they had a full rental calendar, like that place just, rents like hotcakes, I think they lowered the price to up their occupancy rate.
That makes a lot of sense because they had just changed out all the mattresses and had just painted and redid things in there as well. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right, and it actually changed hands during the process of our trip.
I
And the
forgot
new owner, because we started off communicating with the original owners that we had cyber-stalked.
Yeah.
But then we ended up, by the time our trip rolled around, we were talking to the new owners. We were communicating with them.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that.
Yeah, so that was kind of strange because it was like we saw the prices what we had agreed to the first time, but then by the time our trip rolled around, the price had like doubled.
Right, and we were worried.
Right, but that price was actually more in line with the other places at Oceania.
It was, yeah. And they held to the contract that we had created with the original owner. I mean, we had no problems at all. Everything went smoothly.
So here's our process for when we're looking, because we've used VRBO in Aruba. We've used it in other areas of the world. So our process is we come up with what we want in a place, what amenities we want. And then we make a list of basically all of the rentals that fit that description.
Right. Well, you can filter it. So you get to pick how many bedrooms you want. So you can say at least or no more than, I forget which way it goes. You can pick your price range.
Right.
You can pick, that if it has a pool, if it has a jacuzzi, so all the different types of amenities, you can kind of narrow it down with that. Then
in the location, you can pick Eagle Beach, Palm Beach, Nord, various places around the island.
Right. And then once you do that, then you start looking at the places. That's when it gets really fun. Because that's when you get to look at them like, oh, this is the place where I'm going to live.
Right. Well, it might spit you out 70 different places that fit your description.
The more you narrow it down, the less options you're going to have, obviously. But, you leave it a little open, see some of the places, and get some ideas of things you like, things you don't like, style preferences, how they decorate. All that kind of comes into play. Obviously, location is a big part.
Right. So what I do is I open a tab for each apartment or home that fits the description of what we want. So at times I might have like 20 or 30 tabs open at the same time.
I remember that.
And that's whenever I bring them to Mags, where she can start eliminating ones that just don't work for what she likes.
A lot of times I do look at the decorations in the place and I'll narrow it down. I'll be like, no, I don't like that living room. Don't like that bed. That bed looks like it wouldn't be comfortable. And you kind of start to just weed away things that you wouldn't be interested in. Then you start to get to, okay, well, this one's a better price than that one. So let's knock that one out because it's not worth the extra however many dollars, that it's going to cost.
And then you get to a point where you have maybe like five that would work for you. And that's when you start making contact with the owners.
Right. Because sometimes you'll find out once you make contact with the owner that the price that you expected isn't exactly what you're going to get. I mean, there's always, there's always that option of hidden costs that you didn't realize. Some people will charge for electricity. Others just roll it right into the cost of the place.
Right.
So,
there can be cleaning fees, things like that.
Yeah. Security deposits, the one nice thing for us, the more Janet, the person that we rent from now, she knows us, she trusts us. We don't have to pay any kind of security deposit because she trusts that we're going to leave it as.
We treat the place like it's ours.
Right. So, but you're going to have that, you're going to have security deposits to pay. And I'm sure all that kind of stuff comes in line with what you have to do when you stay at a hotel or anything too. So that, once you learn about any types of hidden costs or whatever, that might be able to help you narrow it down to maybe 2 or 3 at that point.
And sometimes honestly, sometimes you just won't like the owner.
Yeah, I know.
It happened one time, once again, I won't mention any names, but it was a Gold Coast rental that we were going to rent. And we spoke to the lady by phone. She said she wanted to speak by phone.
Yeah, she wanted to, get to know us.
Right. So we're talking to her and we're just both looking at each other like, you know what? We don't really like her.
Yeah.
So we chose to,
not
go a
going
different
in
direction.
depth. Yes, we both felt the same vibe that we just didn't like her, and it's you're more comfortable renting from somebody that you just click with.
Yes. Yes.
And we're really nice people. Who wouldn't like us?
Well, she liked us. We just didn't like her.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So anyway, our first place was at Oceania at Eagle Beach, and I love the area. I love Eagle Beach. Right now it's probably my favorite beach right now.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
that changes on a day by day basis. But
Love the serenity there.
yes. But see, I don't think we appreciated it when we were there because we spent most of our time at Palm Beach.
Yeah. I mean, I think at that time, if you had asked me if I liked Eagle Beach, I probably would have said, nah, it's not for me.
It was almost too quiet.
Hmm.
So we spent most of our time at Palm Beach. Which, I mean, now that I know Aruba more, I realize that Eagle Beach has its quiet parts, but you can find a party there if you really want.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got places like Matthews and Ricardo's that they party as hard as any place in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know.
The more time you spend there and the different beaches that you go to, you realize every beach has its time and its place.
Yeah. Like I said, we spent most of our time at Palm Beach, which probably led to us choosing to stay there on subsequent visits.
Right.
Once Oceania got priced out of our range.
Mm-hmm. But it was fun because we got to find new and different places and experience different things.
Right. Right. So, well, actually, our next place was in Rui Santo, and we rented that via a rental website, an Aruba rental website.
It was what, One Happy Rentals?
ArubaHappyRentals.com.
ArubaHappyRentals.com. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
With the smiley face.
Yes, and they were really nice people. The way they ran their operation was professional, and they were on time always. It was a great experience.
Yeah, because she met us at our car rental agency.
Car rental place, yep.
And she waited for us there. We got our car, and then she led us to our place.
And remember, our plane was late. That was the only flight we've probably ever been on to Aruba that didn't touch down on time.
Yeah,
we were like an hour late.
Was waiting on us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she took us to the place, took us in. They showed us all around the house how to use the different things, what to look for, what we might need, any type of information where if we had any problems, who to call. So they were, yes, very professional, and the house was beautiful.
Beautiful house. Huge pool, nice outside outdoor living area, living room, barbecue grill. Mm-hmm. Did I mention the huge pool?
Your own private pool. It was a nice private property, and very close to the Palm Beach area. I mean, I wouldn't say you could walk. You had to drive.
No. Yeah, this was up in Rui Santo.
Yeah, you had to drive.
Now the place that we stay is actually in Palm Beach. I call it Palm Beach adjacent, but really it is Palm Beach. It's walkable.
Oh yeah, it's walkable. I mean, you can just go right across the goat path, and you're right at
Playa Linda would be.
Playa Linda, yes. So if you just walk across the goat path and walk straight up, you're going to walk right up to Playa Linda. We quite often drive up and park at Wendy's and then just cross over by McDonald's, and it's right there in among everything. When we go to the beach, we prefer to take our car with us because we take a bunch of stuff with us to the beach. So we usually just park right across the street from one of the hotels, usually the Rio, and just walk right up by
the Palm Pier. Bugaloo and those guys. Yes.
Yeah, Bugaloo.
in between Bugaloo and I guess it would be the Hilton now.
You mean in between the Rio and the Hilton? So I mean that's really convenient.
Yes.
Back to where we stay and why we stay where we stay.
Our process for finding that place was a little bit different. I actually chose these people because, well, I mean, for one, the house was really nice looking, and for two, they live not far from us.
Yeah, they live in Maryland.
Mm-hmm. So I figured if something went wrong with this transaction, I could go to their house and get answers.
Yeah, we could find them.
Yeah, that was literally what the deciding factor.
Although there was no reason for us to even feel like that at that point. That was the third place we'd stayed at from a VRBO rental, and we'd never had a problem.
This time we specifically chose the Palm Beach area. We narrowed it down to 4 or 5 different places, and we contacted them all by email, and the vibe that we had with them was just incredible from the very beginning.
Yeah, I remember it came down to Janet's place or the place in Tierra del Sol with the beautiful green grass.
Yes. And actually, you know what? The fact that Janet had family from the same part of Ireland that you have family from.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yep.
Yeah, that helped clinch the deal.
Yeah, so honestly, it's like that when you're dealing with these rental agencies or rental websites, the human factor is the deciding factor.
Yeah, it is. So why don't we just touch a little bit on the advantage of finding that one individual that you rent from?
When you find that one person, then it makes the transaction so much smoother because you get used to each other. Like the way we do it now, we just now, like contacted them in order to secure the place.
We just contacted her last week, as a matter of fact.
Right.
And it was just an email we directly email her now. And it's just, hey, we'd like to be down in Aruba at such and such a time. Is your place available? She's back to us within 24 hours at the most. And it's, 99% of the time we've never had an issue with when we wanted to go. And it's like, sure. And we don't even talk price anymore.
Yeah. And honestly, while it is nice to try different places, once you settle onto a place that just fits your style, it's really beneficial to you to form that connection with the owner.
Like I said, now, there's no need for a security deposit and stuff like that, cleaning fees or anything.
Yeah, it's all super informal and a very pleasant experience. So what are some of the things you like about staying in the Palm Beach area?
I like the convenience. I mean, we rent a car so we can go wherever we want. But I love the convenience of being right there where the action is, but being able to walk away from it at nighttime. So, just being able to walk 1 block up to the main street in Palm Beach and have all the restaurants there and all the hotel casinos. It's really nice and convenient.
It's nice at night to be able to just walk from place to place.
Right. I think, and it's everybody's preference. I would never push my opinion on other people, only state why I choose what I do. I feel like so we stay right in the Palm Beach area. So we tend to go out at night quite often in the Palm Beach area because of the convenience. However, we can drive wherever we want, and we do, but we tend to fall back on, the Palm Beach area, Moomba, Boogaloo, places like that, because it's very convenient. You can go there. I mean, you don't want to be drinking and driving or anything like that. We like to drink and have a good time. You can go right over there and do whatever you want, and home's very close by.
Yes.
But I feel like sometimes convenience can keep you in one location, and I feel like if I was staying at a hotel, just my opinion, if I was staying at a hotel, chances are I would stay where I know. So I would be on Palm Beach most of the time, and I would, go to the Palm Beach restaurants most of the time.
Well, at night we're typically anchored to Palm Beach too because it's walkable.
Right. But, I'm just saying, for me, I feel like if I stayed in a hotel, the next thing I know, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to rent a car because I can get everywhere I want to go just right here in Palm Beach.
Oh, yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
You have the opportunity for buses and all. I'm just saying that once you get used to something, you tend to stay, with what you know, because it's easy, it's convenient, and you know it. Whereas if you stay outside of a certain location, maybe, and you have a car, you may branch out more. Maybe not, but I'm just saying you have that option. Whereas the closer you get to the beach, the more you want to stay exactly where you're at.
Yeah, so my favorite thing about the Palm Beach area, like most people, is for the most part that's where the action is. Yeah. We're based there, but during the daytime, we visit all the different beaches around the island. We visit everything from Baby Beach to Arashi Beach and everything in between. At nighttime, we tend to stay local just because we do, like as you mentioned, we like to drink. So it's much easier, much better for us to just be able to walk to where we need to be. Now, if we wanted to go further, there is the option of taking a taxi.
Yeah, there are options to get places.
So even though you rent a car, I mean, you still, if you want to go to Ricardo's for karaoke or whatever, then maybe you will take a taxi if you're drinking. But on future trips, actually, we have a trip planned for in next February or March.
Yeah.
We don't have a concrete date for it, but we'll have more people with us. We'll have Maggie's kids with us, and so we're looking for a larger place because I guess the 3 bedroom, 2 bath place that we stay at now isn't large enough.
It isn't quite big enough for all of us.
Yes, technically it is, but I like my space.
I mean, we could squeeze everybody in, but you know, you like your space. You also, you know, it's nice if you're taking other people maybe that haven't been there or haven't been there in a while to, you know, see and learn new things along with them. So we have considered maybe staying somewhere else just to do something new.
Right. So, I mean, when you think about other places to stay, I guess, well, the most popular place besides the Palm Beach area and the Eagle Beach area, I guess, would be Oranjestad.
Yeah, I would say.
So you have the Renaissance, but that probably wouldn't suit our needs. Actually, we've stayed at the Renaissance one time, well, just for one night because we needed an additional night. And that wasn't bad. It doesn't suit our purposes because, as we mentioned, we need a large place. Yeah. So the other place I would be thinking about would be in Savanetta.
And that's completely different from what we do now.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've never stayed down that area. We've explored that area. We explore that area every time we're in Aruba, but we've never actually stayed there.
Yeah.
And they have some great houses down there.
Yeah, I would love to find a place, like, really close to one of the, like, right along the water down there. I think that would be really neat. I don't know. It just seems like that would be a beautiful area and a little bit more, what am I looking to say? Not serene. Not, I can't think of, it's more secluded. Yeah.
And it's more like real Aruba rather than just the glitzy vacation veneer that covers a lot of Aruba.
Right. And when you're, you know, when you're with a lot of people, sometimes, you know, you find it more fun to stay in at night and have fun on your own, and then maybe venture out to Palm Beach a couple nights, you know, for a dinner here and there.
Yeah, we'll have a designated driver for those nights.
So then with this place, we're going to start from scratch again, probably either through contacts that we know or through VRBO. Go in search of a place for next February, March, and it starts all over again. So we'd be making our list of what it is that we would want from a place if we're going to change things up.
Yes, I actually know someone that owns a villa down there. It's across the street from the beach, basically. 3 bedrooms, has a very large pool, nice outdoor living area. Or entertaining area, I guess I should call it. Villa Fortuna. I interviewed them on a previous podcast.
That would be neat.
Yes, I'll have to show you pictures of that. I mean, I think that place is getting pretty popular, so it might not be available when we want to be down there because that'll be high season.
Right, that's true.
But if it is, then that might be an option.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about places down that way, so I don't know what the cost difference will be, if there's a cost difference.
Yes, there is. There is. I definitely would say there's a discount to renting in Savanetta over renting in Palm Beach.
And if they actually ever did build their resort down at the Baby Beach area, it would be neat to start staying down further on Aruba and learning the area more, you know, because that might eventually someday become, you know, a big booming area for tourists down that end. Right now,
I actually hope that doesn't happen. Personally.
But you never know, you know, about what the future is going to hold. And if you come in at the, you know, at the beginning of it, even if you were looking to buy, it would be, you know, a great opportunity as well if something like that happened. But I just like to just see and, you know, new things and different things. That might be fun.
We've been all over that area.
I know, but driving through it and driving around it is different than staying in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go on a cruise to Aruba. It's so different than actually staying there, but you don't realize that until you actually stay there. That's what I mean about going to Savanetta. kind of like that.
Okay. I was talking more about, well, I mean, I was referring to the Baby Beach project. No, I'm just saying I hope they don't build that area up because, I mean, Aruba's only 19 miles long. Does it really need another hotel zone?
That's a story for another podcast.
Yes.
But anyway, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, what?
If you had a wish list of amenities for a place that we might stay at in the future, what might be some things you'd be interested in maybe having that we don't have now?
So the place we stay has a nice little courtyard area, but it doesn't have a pool.
Yeah, that would be the
So
number
that
one
could be
thing
something.
on my list.
Yeah, an outdoor bar.
Ooh, that would be nice. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Does that come with the bartender?
Yeah, you. Uh, well, actually, you know what? Drew took bartending classes.
There you go.
He,
We'll
he
just
can be
let
the
him be the
bartender.
bartender. I can help him pay for his stay.
There you go. Yeah, Katie can bartend too.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Well, definitely make sure that is on our list of amenities.
What else? Well, an outdoor barbecue grill. That goes without saying.
Mhm.
Let me see. A pool, a bar, and a barbecue grill, and I'm probably pretty good.
Well, you kind of took the best ones. I mean, I definitely would love to have a pool. That's probably the only thing I miss about the place that we stay at now. I know we made the decision that it didn't matter to have a pool because we like to spend so much time at the beach. But just the option of the pool being there, I would love.
Yeah, some night
Loved your
swimming is
idea
cool.
about having the outdoor bar, and the people that you chose are the perfect bartenders. I think the only other thing on my list that maybe you didn't touch on is the view. I would love, love, love to have a place that's like right on the water. Just it would be
hmm
beautiful, and I probably wouldn't even have to travel up to Palm Beach at all if I had all that.
Well, good luck finding that.
Stop it. I believe in Santa.
Now, something that I do really love about the Savanetta area are the different the restaurant choices that you have down there are so
Yeah,
different than what you find in the Palm Beach area. I mean, the
right.
Palm Beach area is probably like the restaurant center of the island,
Yeah.
but you get so many more like local options.
Right, yeah. That's where the great restaurants are with the chefs. That's the expectation. But the
hmm
hidden gems are the ones that you find, in other areas of the island, which would be cool to experience.
Yes, definitely a big plus for staying in Savanetta.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, we started out talking about, the first place we booked and how we booked it on VRBO. Hopefully that gives some clarity to those of you listening that have never used VRBO. It's a really easy process.
Hmm.
It's not complicated at all.
And it's fun.
Yes. And actually, if you have any questions about it, feel free to email me, Kurt at onehappypodcast.com. That's Kurt with a C. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. I'm not an expert on it, but I know more than the average person. And we also talked about the current place that we stay, which is in the Palm Beach area. So, I
Mhm.
mean, it's interesting talking about the differences between Eagle Beach and Palm Beach. How Eagle Beach is much more quiet, Palm Beach is busier. The beaches themselves are actually different too,
Yeah. Yeah, very different.
with Eagle being a little bit rougher, the water,
That's what I was thinking
whereas
about the water.
Palm is nice and calm,
Hmm.
which is a contrast to what the shore is like in
Yeah,
Palm.
exactly. They're both opposites.
Yeah, pretty interesting. And we talked about the advantages of having a great owner
Hmm.
because to me that makes all the difference in the world. How good your stay is starts the moment you book it, in
Right,
my opinion.
right. It does.
The customer service, like I like to be able to, if I have a question, I want to be able to email that person and them get back to me at in a reasonable time frame. For the person we rent from, this less than 24 hours always.
Yes. Shout out to Janet.
What else did we talk about? Oh, and also in the future, how we're going to be renting in other areas of the island. So we'll be on the lookout for different places around the island.
Hmm.
I know Jay, who I interviewed, episode 42, he is currently in Aruba and he's staying at a really nice place. I'm not sure the exact location. It's far away from Palm Beach, but the view from his pool deck is just amazing.
There you go. He's got a beautiful view and a pool.
Yes. Really nice place. So I mean, there's lots of options out there. different things for different tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Something for everyone on Aruba.
Absolutely. And
And
different things for the same people.
different things for the same people. It's funny because we talk so much about when you find like a good owner, sticking with that person.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you do like to experiment a little bit.
Right.
Now, on the next episode of One Happy Podcast, we're going to be talking about like renting a vehicle, some different attractions around Aruba that you might want to visit if you do rent a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
In case you haven't guessed it already, this multi-part series is kind of like us planning our trip.
Yes.
So it started out with when to go, and now we're on, where you're staying.
Right.
And then next we're going to go into renting a vehicle and different attractions around the island.
Makes it really fun for us because we get to reminisce and plan and get really excited. So thanks for being a part of our experience.
Yes. So hopefully this is helpful to those of you who may not have had similar experiences. Maybe you've only stayed at a resort, or maybe you've only used a travel agent and you're curious about maybe doing things on your own. Hopefully this helps you out a little bit.
Or maybe it just makes you think about all the trips that you've had to Aruba and the way you planned out where you stayed.
Yes, because podcasts are great for reminiscing and daydreaming and listening to when you should be working, but you don't really feel like working.
Uh-huh.
Or when you're on the treadmill or exercise bike and you just need to get that hour of cardio over.
That's the best way to do it.
So I guess it's time to wrap things up here. Let these people go.
Okay.
So once again, I want to thank you all for joining me on One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. Hopefully you learned a little something. We talked about a lot here, but if you missed something, don't worry about it, because as always, I took the notes so that you don't have to. And they can be found at onehappypodcast.com/EP53. OneHappyPodcast.com is kind of like the flagship for all things podcast related. So if you haven't checked it out, head on over there and please do so. There's a mailing list over there. There's a resource page, archives of past episodes, tons of information. So make sure you do check that out. And like I stated before, if you have any questions about anything or you just want to get in contact with me, please don't hesitate to email me at Kurt@onehappypodcast.com. That's Kurt with a C.
He takes the show notes so you don't have to.
I already said that. But anyway, I guess I'll let you guys get out of here, okay?
Adios.
So until next time,
hit the music.
hit the music.